A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka, together with our interpreter this evening, Brian De Cruz. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Schools in the Western Province to reopen for all grades tomorrow. Sacred relics placed at the Sandahiru Saya in remembrance of fallen war heroes. Five-member committee to be appointed to replace the present administration of Sri Lanka cricket on the Attorney General's advice. Ritual conducted to end environmental destruction. Opposition levels accusations against subject minister.
පරිසරයමති කියනවා මානම් පඳුරකුයි තේ පඳුරකුයි විතරයි ගලවලා තියෙන්නේ. මේව වහන්න පුළුවන් ද සිංහරාජේ පොල් කට්ටෙන් වහන්න පුළුවන්.
Casualties since the taking over of the military junta in Myanmar exceeds 440. United Nations urges for an emergency summit to be convened on the matter.
And now the stories in detail. The ceremony to place sacred relics at the Sandahiru Saya in Anuradhapura was held today under the patronage of the Yatamasthanaadhipati Venerable Pallegama Srinivasa Thera.
Sandahiru Saya is being constructed in remembrance of fallen war heroes. The stupa is 285 feet in height and 255 feet in diameter. Defence Secretary retired General Kamal Gunratne and the Commander of the Air Force, Air Marshal Sudarshana Patrana, attended the ceremony.
With their consent, a small portion from the monthly salary of our soldiers is used to aid this financially. This is done by the 5th Executive President Mahinda Rajapaksa for more than 29,000 war heroes who were killed in action and for more than 14,000 disabled soldiers who sacrificed their entire future for ours.
Main sponsor.
This Poya Day is significant for Buddhists all over the globe. On a day like today, Prince Siddhartha Gautama, after leaving the royal palace, visited the city of Kimbulwatpura for the first time following his enlightenment. According to history of the Sasana, the breaking of the deity of the Shyamvansas, the preaching of the moon goddess to Yasodhara Devi, and the erection of the Rahula and Nanda princes were carried out on a full moon day like today. The law of not firing children without paternal permission is enacted based on this Poya Day. One of the important events of the day is the request of women to be ordained in the Buddha Sasana for the first time. Devotees were seen engaging in religious activities in temples across the island today. Meanwhile, a Sambuddha Puja was held today at the Sri Sakyamalake opposite the headquarters of the Capital Maharaja Group with the attendance of Venerable Kahagalle Shanti Bodhi Thera. The event was sponsored by staff and members of Kevilton Private Limited of the Capital Maharaja Group. Meanwhile, the Siri Sadaham Seta Dhamma sermon was held at the office of the opposition leader earlier today. The sermon was conducted by Chief Incumbent of the Piliyandala Sri Vaidyashanti Mahapirivena, Venerable Hakuruwela Siri Dhamma Thera.
The Consumer Affairs Authority has instructed district officials to obtain 5 samples of coconut oil from each district to test for substandard products.
The Director of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Asela Bandara, stated that 100 samples would be sent for laboratory testing today. These samples would be taken from unbottled coconut oil that is for sale. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Standards Institute revealed yesterday that the oil sample of one of the 4 importers who imported coconut oil to the country was substandard. The Sri Lanka Standards Institution said that 13 containers of coconut oil have been sealed with the intervention of the Customs Department.
ඉතාමත් පැහැදිලිව කියන්න තියෙන්නේ
The entire country is talking about the carcinogenic coconut oil that has been released to the market. As a government, we would like to clarify that such stocks of harmful coconut oil have not been released. The importers responsible for importing the substandard oil should be instructed to re-export the consignments.
අපනයනය කරන්න ඒ ආයතනට උපදෙස් දෙන්න කියන එක තමයි අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ.
We request the Coconut Development Board to ensure that the importation of coconut oil takes place under the supervision and monitoring of the Ministry of Coconut Development. This particular subject area has been gazetted in the Coconut Development Act. However, the rules had not been drafted and implemented accordingly. I am of the stance that we should destroy the carcinogenic oil instead of re-exporting it to another country. From now on, the importation of non-refined oil should be banned entirely. I assure the general public that the stocks of substandard oil have not been released.
5 members of the opposition met with the Director General of the Sri Lanka Standards Institute last Friday. The Director General accepted the fact that the oil in all the consignments is harmful. The Director General also said that the controversial consignments of oil were sealed after obtaining samples. However, the next time they visited the site, the seal on those consignments had been broken. The media had reported that the controversial consignments of oil had been released upon the recommendations given to the Department of Customs by the chairman of the Sri Lanka Standards Institute. As a result, locally produced coconut oil is more expensive than the imported ones. This is similar to the sugar scam. The general public is compelled to consume poison this after the season. As a citizen and parliamentarian of Sri Lanka, I condemn this incident. As a responsible government, I assure the public that we will not allow a single drop of this toxic oil to be released to the market. We will ensure that the consumer is safe and protected this New Year season. The individual who paved the way for one of his friends to benefit from the sugar scam, who is currently the chairman of the Standards Institute, should reveal to the general public the faction responsible for importing the oil that includes aflatoxin. Even after the treasury suffered heavy losses, have any steps been taken to question? If such substandard oil has been released to the market, the people responsible for it should be hanged. Coconut oil is something that we use often. They are only attempting to maximize profits by importing substandard coconut oil. Everyone involved in this, including those who aided and abetted it, should be hung.
Residents of Kitulgala engaged in special religious observances to stop deforestation taking place in the country today. Now, this was following a protest against environmental destruction at Dotuluwakhanda in the Yaktissa Reserve.
The demonstration was held in the Kitulgala town today.
People have gathered here demanding to protect our water resources. If water resources are not protected, we wish to remind the officials that we are ready to resort to a hunger strike. If forests are destroyed while water bodies are being polluted by chemicals, then the people in this area will not be able to consume water.
The Dotuluwakhanda belonging to the Yaktissa Reserve also marks the beginning point for the Dadugan Oya that flows into the Kelani River. Our correspondent reported that 14 acres of land had been cleared to construct 300 cabins in the area. Locals point out that a swimming pool is being constructed on the land by diverting water from the Dadugan Oya. The News First learnt about irregularities that had taken place concerning the land upon inquiries made from the Land Reforms Commission. The Commission said that a 517-hectare plot of land on which the project is taking place had been given to the Forest Conservation Department. However, the gazette declaring the transfer of the land from the Land Reform Commission to the Forest Conservation Department has not been published. Upon inquiries carried out into the deforestation taking place in the area, it was revealed that a portion of the land had been omitted while demarcating the borders of the land handed over to the Forest Conservation Department.
Several protests were staged in the country demanding to resolve issues concerning farmers and the environment. The Satyagraha launched by farmers of Mahyanganaya in support of the farmers of Valsapugala entered its 12th day today. 37 farmers associations are involved in the Satyagraha campaign. Meanwhile, leaders of farmers associations in Valsapugala visited the farmers of Mahyanganaya who are involved in the Satyagraha.
They claim that trees are not being cut down. They deny that trees are being felled in Singharaja. They say that the visuals of such reports are from India. This is shameful. The parliamentarians who are not aware of Sri Lanka, its territory and the living beings in the country must be ashamed of themselves. If they accompany us, we can show them the areas that are being destroyed.
A group including Namal Kanura Ratna, the president of the All Ceylon Farmers Federation, participated in the Satyagraha last evening.
Certain individuals in the government are bragging about themselves. They say that deforestation has not taken place in Singharaja and that environmental destruction is not occurring. A group of backbench parliamentarians visited the area to prove those claims as well. They are trying to conceal this.
එතකොට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? ඌගේ පස්ස පැත්ත විතරක් නෙමෙයි ආත් දෙකේයි කකුල් වලයි ඇඟ හැමතැනම ගාගෙන හැමතැනම ගඳ ගස්ස ගන්නවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ආණ්ඩුවත් ඇවිල්ලා මාධ්‍ය ආයතන.
Therefore, the government has failed miserably in attempting to point fingers at media institutions to cover up the destruction taking place.
ඊට පස්සේ මේ කරන පරිසර විනාශය වහගන්න ගිහිල්ලා හත් පොලේ ගාගෙන තියෙන.
The Satyagraha launched by farmers of Valsapugala demanding authorities to gazette the proposed Wild Elephant Management Reserve entered its 71st day today. On the other hand, the Satyagraha launched by farmers of Galgamur demanding a scientific solution to the human-elephant conflict continued for the 13th day today. Today is day 10 of the Satyagraha launched by farmers of Madavakshaya as well. These farmers who launched the demonstration in support of the Valsapugala farmers are demanding a swift solution to the problem.
Those who live in AC rooms, in artificial bubbles, do not understand this. We were safeguarded through our ecosystems. Protecting the environment is of utmost importance. We need to unite to put an end to those who engage in mass deforestation. Do not let such acts take place. We witnessed the bravery of a child who spoke out against destruction in Singharaja. Even she is being threatened now. This is a valuable place on the Mahavali river. This too is being destroyed. Kumbuk trees had been felled. We created awareness of it. We are providing an example to the world and the country. You might be officials who hold great power, but do not forget your roots.
The chief priest of the Vimala Buddhi Buddhist Center in Warathanna made these remarks while attending a program to plant saplings in line with the 300